A nar. We use the expression as a nar. What does it mean as a nar? He's a fool. But it means he's not mature enough, so he's foolish. In a positive sense, it means that he has more bittul and less intellectual prowess, in which everything he figures out a way, and he shtickle here and there, and he justifies, you know what I'm saying? Nar. So it says, Umashalsa Yoshua ben Nun, nar lo yomish b'techoyel. The reason he did not vacate Moshe Rabbeinu and stood at his side the entire time is because he had a sensitivity of humility. He was a nar, and hence he understood that it's all about Moshe, and I should hang out with Moshe. The entire purpose and primary drive and essence of Yoshua was Shehu Misharis Moshe. You see, this is another kvetch, emphasis. When it says Umasharsoi, the normal way when you read the Torah, the attendant was Yoshua. He was the man, the shamash, the gabbai. See, this is emphasizing, no. You know what was the content of Yeshua? That he's a Masharis Moshe. That he is subservient to Moshe. He understood, because of his humility, that how does he become, not significant, what constitutes his being, the fact that he's Masharis Moshe. And if you strip him from the Misharis Moshe, he's a nothing. That's a very high level of bittul, where you come to understand that all you are is an aid, an attendant to Moshe Rabbeinu. I have my own individuality. Yeah, you do. But it has to be founded on Misharis Moshe. So what do we see from all this? That not only did Moshe have bittul, and not only did Aaron have bittul, but Yoshua had also a tremendous amount of bittul. He had this great amount of bittul, and therefore he never departed the tent. He was constantly a receiver, a mekabel. These words, guys, are so deep and important, and it's like swallowed into the text, and if you don't pick it up, you don't get it. It says here, Shu b'bchinas mekabel tamid, and then the Rebbe adds verbiage, which mekabel tamid means in the positive. You know what Yeshua was? He was a constant receiver, a mekabel of Moshe, from Moshe. But then the Rebbe adds, ve'ein shayach lashpo klal. You hear this, a very deep meaning. He's not shayach, not aviv. Not only did he not be mashpia. We're talking now why he was a Masharas Moshe. He wasn't shayach. You know what shayach means? Shayach means...
Was there any reason for it?
He wasn't able to. He wasn't able to. Shayach. When someone is completely devoted to a Moshe Rabbeinu, it is impossible for that person to be a mashpia at the same time. You're either a makabel or you're a mashpia. Now, of course, we would say we have to be both. We're not talking about that. We're talking now. When you are in the mode of Kabbalah, of receiving, there's no room for you being at that time a mashpia. And if you are a mashpia, what type of mashpia are you? Giving over what you're makabel. So it's not your own self information that you're legislating and sharing. This is a very, very what? Yeah, right. And look what he says. He brings a halacha to support this. 5 more minutes. He says, but I love the words here. This is regarding the laws of kosher and non-kosher. When you're occupied, when the vessel is occupied, absorbing, it cannot protrude. It's regarding kashrus. You can't make treif and kosher at the same time. Okay? A student who sits before his teacher, a student who's a real student, your son is here. What's your first name? Eliyahu. Eliel. A student, a Talmud, who sits before his teacher. What is the mode? What is he supposed to do? You don't think about how I'm going to interpret what my rabbi, my teacher says. You have to just listen and absorb. That's a real student who is in the mode of absorption, not in the mode of protrusion and reflection. Listen to this, even after Moshe passed on, the entire identification and essence of Yeshua was Shu Mesharas Moshe. You hear that? In other words, the title and accolade that the Torah calls Yeshua Mesharas Moshe wasn't only while Moshe was alive, but even after Moshe was alive, he remained, quote, Mesharas Moshe. That's how bottle and subservient he was to Moshe Rabbeinu. That's how much humility he had, Anova. As it says, after Moshe passed on, Yeshua ben Hashem says to Yeshua, Mesharas Moshe, he calls him Mesharas Moshe Leimoi. The Gamach Shenifre Meis Hashem now Yisrael. After Yeshua was already chosen to lead the Jewish people, Mesharas Moshe, he was still considered a servant, the aid of Moshe. Shoei Batachos HaBittul, because he had the ultimate bittul. One man amongst 1,000 I found, but a woman amongst these I didn't find. Pretty interesting verse. Explained here in Chassidus, Adam Echad Me'elef, who is this one man amongst 1,000? Zeh Moshe, this refers to Moshe. V'isha, and a woman I didn't find, meaning Shu Prinas Mekabel, a woman who's the Mekabel in comparison to the man, the husband, who's the Mashpia, the giver. Ve'ena Mashpia Klal, a woman is not a Mashpia at all. Kifi Madregas Yoshua, that was the level of Yoshua. He was a Mekabel, a constant Mekabel, and not a Mashpia. He's in a Bechol Leil, Le Matzossi, Haina Bechol Elef. Amongst 1,000 people, the kind of 1,000 mashpiyim, I didn't find one that's a real makabel. So he goes back to his main point. Even though Yeshua was the leader of the door,